Inside of me there are two wolves. One is incredibly excited to play Austria and figure out a whole bunch of things like peasant enfranchisement and everything related to Austria's new modifiers when it comes to mountains, plateaus and hills. The other one is incredibly worried about playing in the Holy Roman Empire, knowing that the Holy Roman Empire brings nothing but pain, suffering and indeed complete depression. We're going to go ahead and we're going to play a funny little playthrough. The goal of this playthrough is to go into a very bespoke gameplay direction. Is it optimal? No, and it isn't really meant to be optimal. We are figuring things out, we're trying to understand what the intention of certain mechanics is and how they play in practice. I want to simultaneously, however, also defend the Holy Roman Empire as the Emperor, because there's something that we can only investigate if we are the Emperor, and that is whether the people inside of the Empire now actually vote in an interesting way. In the past, they either would all be in favor or all be against any given proposal. So, we're going to do some funky stuff internally and externally. I want to explore the Holy Roman Empire and every single associated situation until at least a certain point. I have heard now that in the current version, since trade maintenance is very high and we have a rebalanced economy, we're looking at a situation where around 1430, 1440, in particular in Western Europe, tools, iron and so on become completely scarce and it is impossible to continue playing with a total breakdown of the economy. That is at least what I've read on the forums. We're going to see how that plays out and whether I need to abandon this playthrough then. Maybe I don't. But alright, first we need to choose a government reform, and I'm going to do something that is just good roleplay, I suppose. As the Austrians, we're going to pick up joint ruling. This is an interesting government reform. Ineffective, it is of course free, because it adds an additional slot, meaning you can have 3 instead of just 2. It gives you decentralization and conciliatory, which is fine. This is meant to be a decentralized, vassal-focused diplomatic playthrough. But other than that, quite frankly, what I'm mostly here for are the events. Every now and again, a brother might challenge their other brother, maybe you move your capital and that kind of thing, and I want to test this specifically because putting my capitals into Graz, where this is where it normally goes, is a lot more viable in this version, right? Wien obviously is the very clear pick because it lies at the Donau River, and we're looking at a situation where it is also very clearly connected via roads that easily make it so that you can have control elsewhere. So, joint ruling it is. Now, beyond this, I'm gonna be very boring. I think we're going to be going with agricultural cultivation with our second one, because I know for a fact that food production in these territories is very bad. We are very much not autark, we're not independent in our supply here, and I wish I could step it up a little bit more, because, yeah, our treasury is going to be thankful. Now for our councillors, I'm firstly going to go ahead and I think put both of them on stabilize and strengthen government. I of course want control in Graz later on, but for the time being, the sooner we fill up legitimacy, the less money can I spend on it. So we're gonna make sure that that is done before we do anything else. I don't think the benefit of having Graz under direct control is actually going to be significant enough to convince me to really invest in this. Man, we got good characters here, you know that? These are nice people. Alright, and now we get to the crux of the issue, and that is our economy. This number is a lie, I can already tell you this. It will reset massively. I think this might actually be the number if I had a massive amount of control, which will not be the case. It will be going back. It is fine. It is okay. I'm just gonna set everything up in the best possible way, and we're gonna see where we end up after a couple of months. We're gonna crank this up, really putting us into the negatives. Luckily, we start with a lot of money. I don't know why, but I won't be complaining. We're going to dial this down. We might even dial it down completely, honestly. We are making a good 0.2 because we're not currently doing anything actively. Of course, that is going to change as I will be influencing the electors. And I'm going to put down food here. If people starve, that's fine. We're going to produce more food in the long run. And that's kind of what we're going for there. Yeah. So we end with the maximum investment for stability and for legitimacy, which I will be running for a while at the very least. We end up at a pretty negative number, at least initially. We're going to see how that actually pans out. For the time being as well, I will be a friend of Bohemia, primarily because they are an elector, they're not yet Hussite, and much more importantly, in my opinion anyway, they can give me money. I can request money from them, and I most certainly shall. Now beyond this, what are we looking at here? Obviously, you're all quite close to liking me there. I'm just going to improve opinion with you, that's fine. And, buildings-wise, well, it's an interesting thing as Austria, right? You can see here that the margins of our RGOs are very low. Now, this is before we unpause, but still. The reason for this is, of course, that we are looking at low market access. We are basically as far as it can get to the Nuremberg market. It's not really doing us any favors, and eventually, well, rather soon, I think, we will want our own market. The only issue with this, ultimately, is that if I founded one right now, we would have no actual food in it, we would run out of everything. So, my priority rests with producing more food. I don't want to overbuild it, because we are of course going to have the Black Death, that's fine. But a couple more levels to make these attractive locations, I think, won't hurt anybody. And beyond this, I would argue that we probably will want to go with iron and such, because this is what might stave off the Western European iron collapse. Not entirely sure. We're going to try to do this. I'm not even sure, just reading what people are writing, what exactly the consensus there is. Is it, for example, because we are looking at, higher production of random buildings by estates? Is it because we're looking at trade deficits just not working? I've seen a lot of theories there. Let's build a couple of toolsmiths and then let's call it a day. We are going to be negative, so having some money buffer is a good idea. Alright, yeah, after a couple of months, our economy looks fine. I can't really complain about it. I also will now hand out a couple of privileges, which I normally would have never done. This is because I want to check out peasant enfranchisement. It's a really interesting thing. Currently, we are, of course, on a rather serfdom-oriented trajectory. Yes, we are going towards free subjects, but I want this to be massive. I want the freest of free Austrias possible. Our peasant enfranchisement, right now, is not all that meaningful here. It of course depends on the location, but primarily because we have this much serfdom, we are looking at very low peasant enfranchisement. I want to turn this around. I will have the most free kind of peasant enfranchisement that we possibly can have. If you take a look around, you can see right here, it differs per country depending on their societal value. I really like this idea, because this means, like in Sweden, where you have a lot of freemen rather than serfs, that you can have a completely different estate makeup even early on, while still being a feudal monarchy. Historically, it is of course true that these northern countries right here retain freemen for a much longer period than anybody in Central Europe, where serfdom and serfdomification really kind of took hold of most nations, I would argue. I think outside of Switzerland, of course, right? Primarily due to the power struggle of the landed aristocracy going in their favor. We will be reforming our Austria into a situation where we are also free. Is it a good choice for Austria? Honestly, I doubt that it is, because of course serfdom also has benefits. We're looking at the raw materials output, we're looking at levy recovery and so on, and, of course, at a very easily manageable noble estate. But I want to try it out. I want to see where this goes. I do also like the idea of represented in parliament. I like what this could do to our parliament majorities and parliament agendas. So you know what, let's do it. Obviously making the Austrian nobility very angry, that's fine. And I think lastly we're going to go with common militias. Let's just see how it goes. Ooh, don't rebel on me, okay, buddy? I also think, and this is now a check whether a bug has been fixed, I'm going to release everything that we hold here in Switzerland. This is where the ancestral seat, of course, is in Aarau, I think, right? Am I right there? I believe I am. We're going to give this to a vassal. In the past, it would trigger the event of like, oh, our enemies wrestled it from us, even though, of course, no enemies wrestling it from us were involved in this. I'm going to hand it over. We're not going to have any actual control in this territory. I think that is fine. Man, the fact that I can't give you these tiny snippets here, I guess I'll make individual vassals for each individual snippet. Just seems very silly, you know? Now, for our first parliament, I think I might get a claim on Freising. Not that the land here is too amazing. They are allied to Salzburg. We could get away with a nice vassalization there and then, you know, kind of call it a day from there. I might just fail the parliament after. We could theoretically make it actually with lessened levy obligations, but you know what? Failing it isn't that bad. Eats a little bit of stability. I think we can live with that. And here's the content that I was talking about. The jealous brother. It seems to fire very quickly. I don't know what the conditions are. We never know with this type of content. What is his problem? So he wants to rule. Or alternatively, let him do his west. You know what? Let him do his west. Wow. They immediately dissolve the faction. Okay, well, that's interesting. That's very fascinating. Oh yeah, let's just put him back into. Okay, I don't know what that was. That's fine. Some of these things we do not have to understand. We are now positive just due to, of course, legitimacy reaching 100. I might dial this down just a little bit. I think we're doing fine in that regard. I do want, again, the nobility to actually get a little bit angry at us, but it seems like they won't even fire. That's okay. And alright, I think, don't mind if I do. Wait, that's the wrong one. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, we're easily gonna win this. And hopefully this will now be a little bit more meaningful. This is the term expiring joint rule taking, and this is one of the events that you can get there. I'm gonna say Rise My Duke. We're gonna put the other guy on the throne right there. Stats up really good, actually. Very nice. And apparently I ran out of character, so let's... I never clicked this, but let's... hire character. I've never clicked this in my life. It's a good character. Now the question is, can I turn Salzburg into a vassal? Oh my god. Right. So this is the antagonism cost in the age. We're not gonna do that, obviously, because Jesus Christ. Okay. Hey, I don't think the coalition would fire necessarily, but also I am not willing to actually eat that when I want to become their emperor here. We're just gonna clean up, like, our immediate area, I think. Thanks for the money. I wish it would give us a breakdown of like, hey, by the way, this is increased significantly by you being in the HRE. I know that it is a thing, I just can't find it in the actual tooltip there. We don't need Salzburg. It's not that great for us anyway. Maybe eventually we're gonna, you know, kind of do something there, but for now I think we're good. The better choice quite clearly is to expand into Hungary. You can't even really do Bohemia anymore entirely because they are in a position where this would be a massive piece of war score cost and simultaneously give you unbelievable levels of antagonism. So, you know what, just forget about that. Now let's see what our estates are building here, because keeping track of this is one of the things that I want to test. The toll castles, they really like those, and they are good for them. I understand why they're building them. I'm not sure the threshold is for when they build something positive versus something negative. Cathedral, okay. Yeah, okay, sure. Tailor's Guild, that's a good building, nothing wrong with this. The burghers actually being productive, yet again confirming that they are the best of the best. Festival grounds. Yeah, okay. They are being quite self-serving, but I think that is the point of them as well anyway. Now, as we are playing Austria, I obviously also want to be taking a good look here at the marriage game. Oh, marrying into Poland sounds nice. Sure, why not? That could be a strong takeover. I haven't played with a marriage game in a long time because personal unions are incredibly annoying, or were incredibly annoying. I'm going to really lean into it right here. Oh, they're building irrigation as well? Yeah, I mean, they're building good stuff. What can I say? I did see earlier, yeah, we have a commoner insurgent. That is just in Petau here, the territory that we just took over. I don't think this is going to pop off. I think it's fine. Oh, we have this event again. It shuts down immediately. Okay. I don't know. That's fine. For the next parliament, you know what? I think we might push into Hungary right away. I can actually, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, we can get an alliance with Bohemia. It is right before the Black Death, so this is like the perfect time to basically push in there and then take really, really good territory there. It is outside of the HRE. I think I gotta. Are people still voting for me? Yes, in the majority they are voting for me. That's fine. Okay, Bohemia, I will offer you an alliance. Hell yeah, brother. And then we will do the classic thing as always. We will choose a high kind of trajectory item there. Even if we don't care for the item itself, that's fine, because we want the casus belli. Now, Hungary is by no means weak. They do have an ally in Poland, which we are married into, but that's fine, because we have Bohemia. Bohemia is a truck, and they are an anime girl ready to be isekai'd. And there it is. Welcome to the party, pal. The French seem to have a little bit of a rebellion. England, yeah, took Flanders. This is just what they do. They flip their allegiance. Makes perfect sense. Crown of Castile for once. Actually pushing south, it seems. What are they pushing for? Show superiority. Okay. If they take this territory here, that is something very nice. Ottomans also doing great. Okay, yeah. You like to see it. You love to see it, in fact. They did now also actually add a new map mod, and that is the AI Conquer Desire. And this one is, basically it showcases what I personally think is one of the big shortcomings in the way that the AI behaves. If you take a look at this map right here, you see the capital is there, and then boom, this is high priority. It's not because they see an actual like reason for Portugal itself, like is there a long-term strategy here, are we thinking about resources in particular? I'm pretty sure that this is virtually entirely down to, hey, how much control can I actually gain over this? Which is of course a faulty assumption, especially knowing that, well, everything related to vassals and local governors now exists. We see the same thing here in Aragon, we see it in France, where they literally don't care about the 100 Years' War goal in Aquitaine because it is nowhere near their control center, you know, here in this area. This is one of those things where I can really only say I think it is weird because it makes everybody have radial desires. Everybody looks around and just says, hey, what can I control, but what can I not control? Which, again, given that vassals exist, is complete nonsense. The fact that Naples says, hey, I need to eat the Pope, which is a radical proposition, to be frank here, yeah, I don't know. I think the AI Conquer Desire needs to be expanded upon. It needs to become much more complex, but at the very least, we can now tell what they're actually interested in. And this is the event that I have been waiting for, though I'm pretty sure that this isn't intended. Normally this triggers, of course, when the Duke dies. Now he didn't die, we just have joint ruling, but that's fine, because this will allow us to move our capital to Graz. And in the past, you didn't want to do this. This is a unique Habsburg kind of event. You didn't want to do this because effectively, if you did it, it would just mean that you just locked yourself into a terrible situation. With a local governor, that's no longer the case. I will go ahead and I will move the capital to Graz, and then over in Wien, we will of course be building a local governor. With the local governor in mind here in Wien, we should be in an amazing position when it comes to our control levels. We'll see how it develops. And here we have one of my favorite historical events, where the Austrians just forged a document, replanted the seals of other documents, and then went on and demanded a better position, much, much closer to a Prince Elector. They weren't granted it until they actually became emperors, because well, you're the emperor, and you decide over whether you get these privileges. Obviously, I will do it. I assume that Upper Bavaria will say no, but that's fine by me. Yeah, they granted us something here. Libertas affectandi, that is still great. Crown power, monthly legitimacy, very, very powerful. What can you say? Also changes our succession law, quite interesting, okay. Oh, and there goes the Black Death reaching us, while simultaneously there is now the debate here in the HRE. I have to assume Imperial law debate. Yeah, seal the Golden Bull. This interface needs to change slightly at the very least, right? So that you can see this in the top level. Vote in court assembly, yes. This shouldn't be a separate window, that's fine. Obviously we're backing this, yes, we want to see this go through. Everybody votes yes, 100%. Interesting to note, so the very first vote here behaves in that fashion. Now looking at the Black Death here, I will move my court into hiding as you do. And then I will start with expelling the sick. We love expelling the sick, folks, we really do. Now let's take a look at this. It looks like Hungary is winning this war. Currently they are being occupied, but realistically speaking they just have more troops. Unless... Oh, now that's unfortunate, my friend. I wish I was the war leader here. But you know what, I will take what I can. Beating up Hungarians, that's fun. It is of course also imperative entirely because it secures these areas here in the HRE. And we desperately need the HRE to be stable because, well, that's really the name of the game here for us. Oh yeah, and I did hear of this. In the Black Death, basically the nobility just goes down to 7% because they all die. Like, the nobility seems to be dying en masse, which makes it so that, especially as I went further towards free subjects, yeah, all of a sudden the commoners have 45% power. That is insane. We're gonna hold it in Wien, and just look at this. That's crazy. That is outrageous. Let's put it into this. I did hear... And I'm not sure whether I should be doing this. Theoretically, I could revoke now estate privileges from the nobility for very, very cheap. It feels a little bit like cheating, right? It really does, I think. And honestly, these aren't even that bad. Except, I'm going to revoke this one, I think. Peasant enfranchisement, let's get that sucker up. I want as much enfranchisement as I can, because I want to see how that behaves in gameplay. The Hungarian war is going very, very well. I think I'm going to dip in a couple of minutes, basically, with all of this land. If I take more, then the antagonism might annoy too many people to actually have me voted for the Emperor. But I really like this. This will give us 3 or maybe 1 or 2 vassals, right? I'm not going to push it any further other than in future wars. Is this a little bit greedy? Maybe, but, you know. Here I was saying, hey, this time I will do a diplomatic playthrough. And the game said, but what if I give you free stuff? I have now, thanks to the commoners, a lot of privilege here in my parliament to actually do something other than just passing a parliament debate. I think I'm going to switch to favor the common people. We're going to go all in on being able to tax the peasants while also having them have all the money. We're going to see how that pans out. What does martial society give us? You know what? I would rather see the maximum tax for peasants estate. I am peasant tax maxing. Let's see how it goes. Oh, and our Duke now actually died. And for the very first time in my life anyway, I have now a peasant regency. I've never seen that before. Does it actually change anything? Let's take a look. The peasants become powerful, much happier, free subjects. You know what? Yeah, I'll take it. That's fine. We'll see how this goes. Oh, and there goes joint ruling. Yeah, I mean, we are now a girl, a 10-year-old girl with not great stats. Ah, there goes the Emperor, but sadly, my ruler, of course, had to die so that he can't take over. 51! My god, come on, man. Alright, well, we are going off track here. This is not what I had in mind. I think that's okay, though. I think we will surely be fine. Speaking of being fine, I think I'm going to found our own market here now. I need a little bit more money, and then we're going to do it. I think I prepared this well enough, and we aren't exactly incredibly population rich. We should get a bigger market than you normally do, as we have now pushed into Hungary already, and we have a lot of control all around. Our realm here is doing incredibly well. We are very powerful, although we have nothing to do with the crown of the HRE, very sadly. It's a good market. I think this is a good mid-sized market. Obviously, I would love to push in there, but it's impossible with Venice where it is. And this being a relatively small market, I think what I need to worry about most now is having trade capacity. But other than that, unless we run into extreme shortages here, I think we are going to be golden. And this is what we've been waiting for. We shall see how exactly control will now develop here. This is a really good level of control. I really can't say it in any other way. Are we going to see meaningful impacts here? Oh yeah, look at this drift up to 63% now. That is something, yeah. I mean, Austria is in an amazing spot now. I don't think that the AI can pull this off, but I think any given player can definitely do this and facilitate very, very easy and early growth. Now, if you're lucky, you don't have Anna von Habsburg here as your heir, and you can become emperor, but, you know, I wasn't that lucky. It is what it is. Now, looking at the 100 Years' War, they seem to be ignoring each other. They aren't really blobbing anywhere, I think. The Ottomans are dying to a rebellion. I did see this previously. Listen, rebellions in this patch just are crazy. I think that is pretty much a death sentence for the Ottomans there. I don't think that they will take off, but they are regularly in a pretty good position there, or at least would be. Now, taking another look at peasant enfranchisement here, yeah, you can see this. So, peasant enfranchisement fundamentally is pretty decent for us, because again, that means that they get more property. However, their power is never so much as it is for the nobility, which is good for taxing, all things considered, because if you look at this right here, the maximum tax is, of course, massively impacted by the fact that the estate power is either large or small. In this case, we can take quite a lot of money from them here, because they are keeping all the money from the aristocracy, but they don't have a lot of money in our actual state apparatus, meaning they are more taxable and they have more money. It's not a bad strategy. Additionally, of course, it should also be said that free subjects is excellent because we're looking at monthly prosperity increase, which if you don't have a lot of population, which we don't, that is also something that speeds up your population growth in general. It is a nice direction that we're taking, and we are just now actually dipping into free subjects to get that monthly prosperity going. And after all this time, we now actually have a new emperor. It is Karel IV, and that's good. I mean, listen, if it's not me, I want it to be Bohemia, primarily because they are actually strong. We are looking at growth. It's not bad at all. It's quite decent, in fact, right now. I would argue that it's quite possible that we will see attempts for more laws. The aggression that France and England had in... yeah, they're just not going into any wars. That's very... I don't know what's happening over there, but alright, and we're allies, man. Why? What is this? I will not be returning this. Thank you, video game. Okay, so being the ally of the emperor does nothing when it comes to demanding unlawful territory. Remind me real quick, what are we looking at here? If they reject... Oh, you just lose prestige? Oh, it gives them a CB, right. I don't think that matters. I think that's fine. We're allied, man. I don't think this plays any role. Weird that they would be asking, but okay. Speaking of which, I would like to ask you for money. Thank you. Oh yeah, you should ask me 15 more times. Can you do that? That would be cool. That is so weird. It doesn't even push down opinion, like at all. It strictly does not impact it. Okay. Huh. Yep. Okay. Don't think so, buddy. Oh my god, they actually will never stop asking. It is what it is, okay? Doesn't impact opinion. The AI clearly doesn't understand that what they're doing there is something they're doing to their ally. You know, and they are in a position where they just keep pressing the button. It's... okay. I think I'm also going to go ahead and revoke religious literacy rights. I know, obviously, I should be leaning onto the clergy as Austria, but I think this should make it so that we can go towards innovative, which I just love innovative. How could I not love innovative, right? So we need to hand out a couple of things that strengthen innovative, and we go from there. And then we have a schism in the Catholic Church. As I get closer, you know what, in fact, we're just going to get professional armies right here. The schism doesn't interest me at all, I will admit. And look at how much our peasants are actually building. They are at 75% estate happiness, and that is very, very easy to achieve with what we've done here, despite them, again, basically being completely powerless due to the relative political power that they hold. They're building masons, tarkans, fruit orchards, and sandpits. They are very active economically, and so much easier to kind of keep at bay. I feel like this is an incredibly easy way of playing the game, because you're mostly avoiding very active and possibly hostile Austrian nobility here going against you. Very interesting stuff. Honestly, I like this playstyle. I think the way that they added this is very nice. Obviously, it should be said that all of this is drastically impacted just simply due to the fact that we are playing with an Austrian modifier for mountains and the local governor right here. This gameplay is so different from before 1.1 as Austria, it's very refreshing. We do now also have the very first wars of France between, or rather in the HRE, although I should say this is an independence-type faction. They might take this over, and I think technically, yeah, this is part of the HRE. If they conquer land there, this will of course be on a negative side for our imperial authority, but realistically speaking, the emperor can't really get involved in this, because again, this isn't France actively declaring any wars. The 100 Years' War is completely asleep. They forgot that it's going on. It is what it is. How does she only have daughters? This is crazy. This is insane. Oh my god, we have a son. We have a son, Philippe. Philip, you are going to be the most amazing emperor. The point of this video is still on, okay? I swear, it's gonna happen. So just to keep you in the loop, I have now been just building up a couple of things. I'm waiting for a parliament, then we're going to go to war against Hungary again, I assume. We're just going to take it bit by bit, right? It's not that big a deal. These insurgents, it's very, very confusing for me. It has to be said, they aren't as powerful as they would have been if I had gone for serfdom. Not by a long shot. They would have a lot more power. But, like, what kind of rebellion is this? Do you see that this is largely just where Slovenes live? I haven't actually accepted Slovenes. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to convert them. Maybe eventually I will do it. So this nobility insurgents, it's not actually, yeah, look at that, it's just Slovenes. It's not actually the nobility, it's just Slovenes. And maybe they need something like these negative traits of IGs that you have in Victoria 3 as well. Because as it stands, if the nobility rebelled, nothing would happen. I would get to crush them for free, maybe revoke a couple of estate privileges, right? Victoria 3 at this point is in a great state when it comes to obstinance, for example, where your pops directly work against state institutions and such. EU5, not quite there yet. Yo, no way. Oh, and it's actually happening. Okay, it's not me doing it, it's Bohemia doing it, but I'm a big fan of this. So they are now passing... What are they passing? Emperor Dynastic Preference. Wait a minute, I don't like this, but it's just gonna happen. Okay, once they go Hussite, I think that is when my window opens up. I'm just gonna vote yes, that's fine. Any strength in the Emperor is something that I believe in. To be honest, by the way, I don't know what's happening in France. 0 wars. Literally nothing. What are you doing? You're integrating Normandy? They're not doing anything despite being allied to Castile? I don't quite understand the 100 Years' War in that regard. Neither the Guelphs and Ghibellines. I mean, they're literally not doing anything. Bohemia isn't going to war against any of them, you know, to integrate them into the factions. I am not seeing too much there. I'm just going to keep building. I'm rich. I mean, it's nice. And so we shall be back in Hungary. Let's grab him. Oh, and I didn't even realize this. Wait, what? Naples is now the leader in the Schism? France sided with Rome? Wait, what? The Pope supports Avignon? What the hell are we talking about? Wait, what? And I have to assume that all this means is that most cardinals reside in Naples, right? No, they reside in France. Oh, Naples took Rome. That is how that happens, right. If you take Rome, you become the other side of the Schism. I don't know how under those conditions the Pope still became the other side. But that's incredible. Looks to me like Palestrina, which means the Kingdom of Naples are going to win. You know how much money Naples is making off of this just now? Because you do get half of the tithe payments, or maybe even more actually. Weird conflict. Okay. Yep, and the vote did indeed pass. It's interesting. We're gonna see maybe this is one of the patches where they're all yes men and they will just vote yes at all times. Wouldn't be too bad for us, given that we want to become the Emperor, but yeah, interesting. Okay, let's see. What are we gonna take here? I like all of this so that we can reach the coast. I'm not entirely sure whether we're gonna hold this directly, but I really need a dock building. I want to look into pirateering. Listen, maybe it's nonsense, but I have to try, right? I would like Hungary to annul all treaties with Poland. And that's it. I think we're gonna take exactly this land. And we'll be back in a few years. What a world. What a world. Blobbing still on the menu. I think at least for the time being I'm gonna hand this stuff over to a vassal sooner rather than later. I think that will switch, but maybe not right now. You know, I really have to say, it seems almost as if all of the wars that France is actually waging in the HRE are started by others attempting to free vassals in France. That is weird. Now, it isn't currently running counter to Imperial authority actually being able to amass, although it is becoming more and more difficult because foreign powers are indeed taking over more lands. We'll see. Listen, once I'm a man, we can come back to that topic. See, this is just, it's really weird. It reminds me of Victoria 3, where in the early version of the game, you were looking at a situation where most actual rebellions were driven by minorities being unhappy, which doesn't make sense because your interest groups are actually sourced in the heart of your empire rather than in suppressed minority areas. Look at the clergy insurgents, look at the commoners insurgent, and look at the nobility insurgents. They're just all Slovenes. Every last one of these people here is Slovenes, but they get to carry the name of the entire faction. It's really odd. In fact, you know what? I'm going to provoke them. I'm genuinely going to provoke them. We're going to see how this goes. I want to test what exactly goes down when I do this. Yeah. You're going to eat it, buddy. What is this? Let's see. Civil war. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I mean, okay. I'll go crush you now. And it needs to be said that this catapults the Austrian nobility up, of course, because these are all the loyalists. So it's like, it feels like I get a free reset of my nobility approval. It's weird. It's really, really weird. And, I mean, there you go. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Oh, and we have now actually formed a union with Ferret, which basically means nothing to us, but okay, it's a good start. If I upgrade this union and I get additional unions, we would be in a position where these laws just apply to them. So, yeah, sooner rather than later, we're just gonna unify this, even if this one, of course, is pretty useless, and we'll go from there. We have a lot of control, and I think in general, again, the peasants, as powerless as they are, make it so that with their money, they mostly do positive things. There's a lot happening. Cathedrals, free village, gravel road, sawmill, and scriptorium. I think we are now in a time where our estates are incredibly active, more active than I will be on average, I think. So they are really driving the economy, although I will say I don't see a big plan behind it. Yes, they have preferences for what they're building, but I'm not seeing them, for example, focus on a particular region, which would be really cool. It is a good step forward, that much is sure. They're doing it more now than they have ever done it before, and most importantly, they're doing it with real money. Oh my god, yeah, look at the commoners. Now that I've actually pushed us massively towards free subjects, we of course have massive peasant enfranchisement. Look at the money they're making. Jesus, yeah, okay, the commoners. Man, it almost feels like cheating though. I really want to reiterate this. Despite the money they are making, they only have 8% of political power. So with that in mind, they basically have no political power. It's kind of crazy because it does mean the nobility will still be the major factor, but they basically make no money. They get nothing out of this country compared to the peasants. Maybe they should change the way political power is distributed if you are really into free subjects as well, right? It doesn't really seem to be the case here, as enfranchisement primarily or entirely really just goes for the wealth share here. It's an interesting thing. We now have a massive amount of peasant enfranchisement. Look at the French in comparison. That is massive. Yeah, okay, I mean, it's working out really well for us. We now have a very rich estate that pays us a lot of money and has no recourse, as they have no political power whatsoever. I really think that if they make a lot of money, it should be kind of reconsidered whether, you know, they are in a position of also having political power. For the recruitment law, who could have seen this coming? We're going to go even further into free subjects. It is kind of just working out for us. Now, the bad news is that at this point, Imperial authority is actually stalling, because locations owned by non-HRE members in Germany has increased significantly. The point being that once I'm a man, we have to do some cleaning up of France's possessions in the Western Holy Roman Empire. However, I really want to stress this. From my impressions, none of the wars here that are leading to France annexing this are actually happening because France is going out like crazy. Instead, enemies of France supporting vassals of France, which then, of course, logically, and all of a sudden you're looking at a war where they can gain land without actually having to declare a war and, for example, triggering this massive coalition. I would really like to join this, but Brixen is sadly in a position of being in a coalition against me, meaning I can't do that. Isn't there somebody you forgot to ask for consent to fight France? Well, yeah, apparently there is. I need this coalition to dissolve. Oh, and the coalition did actually just dissolve. Wait a minute. Yes! I joined the coalition. I think it's time. I think it's time to go insane. I think it is time. Let's rally the coalition. Let's get going. That is outrageous. France, we're going to kill you. We're going to come to your house and we're going to beat you to death. Oh wait, I can't declare it. I don't have a diplomat. I need to wait. Okay. I am not sure that what they did here, where basically if you take any land in the HRE, you just get a massive coalition on your neck. I am not sure that that is the best situation. I feel like there should be different things that impact whether you can chain declare wars in the HRE. Now this is better than nothing, don't get me wrong. But this results in this coalition? That's outrageous. That is insane. Damn. I'm gonna answer that later because I really just want to declare that war. You know, that's the thing. I am really eager to kill France. The game lags so bad. Let's take a look at it. Okay. That is a coalition. I didn't even get to build my first Hofnieces yet. I am entirely just operating with, what are they, Handgunners? The Handgunners are coming. Man, the game gets so laggy when you can see all of this territory. That's outrageous. Oh my god, I hate having to fight this war. I have 1 frame per second right now. Welcome to PowerPoint. I have to assume that we're just winning. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what's going on here, okay? There's just... there's a lot going on in this economy, you know? Folks, all I can say is, as we're defeating France here, don't go to McDonald's. Their burgers are too small, it's too expensive, they're scamming you. Don't do it. Any McDonald's haters in chat? I can see that my troops, my allies keep losing up there, but it's like, what do you want me to do about it? Look at that handgunner there in the back. What a lad. I'm now building the first Hufnieces as well. We're gonna besiege Paris, we're gonna take it with the first cannons fired out of Austrian production. Let's see what kind of peace deal we would be doing here. What would they suggest? Royal marriage between me and... what? No, okay. I do like the liberation here. I think that is what we're going for. Liberate countries. Yep, we are going to liberate as many countries that are in or close to the HRE as we humanly can. I just need to identify them. Okay, I think for now this is all I can do because I physically, of course, can't go over 99 or, well, 100. Yeah, why not? What are we looking at here now when it comes to the question of... how is the HRE doing now? Are we gaining? Are we losing? We're gaining very, very slowly. Okay. We need a secondary war, should this ever happen again, against France again in another coalition, or maybe once I'm emperor I need to start beating on them just, you know, by myself with Bohemia. It should be doable anyway. We need them out of the HRE. That's as simple as it gets. And onwards and upwards to the next coalition target, Milan. It's time for you to die. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. And this war ends with us, very easy of course, I don't have to tell you, with us taking Friuli, getting war reparations, and I'm pretty sure that's it. We do incur some level of antagonism here. No, we don't. What? Oh, because I'm releasing something, I see. Yeah, thanks. Everybody's like, hell yeah, Milan shouldn't own Friuli, but Austria. Now that's a different topic. See, I just have the feeling that I have to press this away basically for like a million years. I just have the feeling that these coalitions are the primary way of expanding going forward for the player, especially given that you lose antagonism when you are destroying the enemy that, you know, you are coalitioning. I feel like the HRE should have different diplomacy from that, but this is currently what we're getting. Speaking of what we're getting, the 100 Years' War is doing nothing. Castile finished the Reconquista, that's nice. I won't hold that against them at all. They are settling various areas here, okay, very nice. The ERE is coming back a little bit. Hungary is doing weird stuff. Poland is dying. Ever since I destroyed the alliance between Hungary and Poland, yeah, Poland has just been eaten alive. The Teutonic Order doing quite well. I like it. Nothing wrong with this. And you know what? This is now actually a great opportunity to check out mercenaries as well. We have plenty of money. We can make something happen here. This would be 1,000. Why would I buy you? These are crazy numbers. No. Give me normal numbers. What is going on here? Here we go. You are from Kilikia, it seems. You got archers, horsemen. I mean, it's not amazing. None of you have guns. Oh, I wish I could search this. Can I gun for handgunners? Okay, that is not how I can search this, huh? Obviously, you're going here for the highest with the best stats. You're great. Sure, you're not the most amazing fella, given the fact, again, you got no handgunners or weaponry. But I'm going to bring you to the table here, 500 and 200. It is plenty of troops, I would argue. 24 months, going to be enough, I think. Yep. And let's spawn you in Laibach. They don't get my national bonuses, right? If I had any, I should say. They don't get any of those applied, I don't think. They're not doing great numbers of damage here either. Yeah, if you just compare the strength damage done. It is nice once you have proper regular troops. These are good numbers. How is this the suggested peace treaty? That's disgusting. Don't even talk to me, man. Jesus Christ. We are going to take this. It's also disgusting, but not as disgusting. I would have loved to take this, but there are gold and silver mines. They were going to take this later. I know I should probably take it right now, but I mostly care about taking over the market here for one of my vessels. I might destroy the market, but I think we're okay either way. It's weird, right? That this is kind of the Austrian playstyle. You're looking at this and you're saying to yourself, hey, I need to conquer Hungary rather than anything else. I'm not saying that we should always be looking towards marriage, but royal marriage is completely unreliable. There's nothing here that I can pull off through royal marriage. I do have a Piast daughter indeed married to my husband, but it just doesn't do anything. To my heir, it just doesn't really do us any favors whatsoever, really. They're trying to excommunicate me. No, don't do it. Why would you do this? What did I do to you? Huh? What did I do to you? It's bad relations. That's what it is. Well, oh my god, the Papal States live entirely in the Alps. You know what? Excommunicate me. I don't care, man. Oh, and we finally did get a CB now to claim a throne. Now, this is different. This will no longer put me on the throne, but instead one of my relatives. I haven't done this since they changed it into being this. This is a lot more sensible, but if I remember correctly, you are also going to get a lot more antagonism for this. Honestly, let's do it. Let's see how it goes. Poland is but a rump state anyway. We might as well just, like, check in with how it's going. You know, it's not amazing antagonism-wise, but it's not terrible either. I'm going to put Karl on the throne, and I think we're gonna leave it right there. I don't care about any of this other stuff. Karl von Habsburg, have fun. You are now a member of the King Club. This, for example, look at this rebellion. Senj is facing a rebellion of 187 people who have taken no land and who cannot besiege anything. This shouldn't be a rebellion. They should just do nothing. I'm sorry. Oh, I can see the Timurids. Nice. Okay, yeah, Timurids are doing their job. I mean, this is good enough, honestly. If they make it here and mess up the Horde, that is exactly the purpose that they serve, so the Ottomans can blob if the Ottomans were more stable, which they were not because currently rebellions are insane. Oh my god, not the Austrian nobles rebelling in me entirely from Passau. I think it's ridiculous. That's all I can say about this. I am a man. A man who is able to be elected. Oh, and my heir is not a man. My life is forfeit. Can I get a divorce? God damn it. Can I be emperor for 5 minutes, please? Finally, we got Hussitism. We might finally be looking at the Bohemians turning away. And honestly, I probably wouldn't persecute them entirely because I just want to be emperor, okay? What's the... Is that too much to ask? Look at Brandenburg, by the way. They're doing nice. Poland. Karl. It's not looking too good for you. It's not looking too good. I think a primary problem with the marriage game right now isn't just, okay, once you have the PU, you just press all the buttons, you press through the reforms, and then you annex them. It's not that interesting, even though the framework is cool. But it's more that even if I have my family somewhere on the throne, what is my follow-up action? There is no follow-up action. There's nothing that I can do that would unify these thrones, that would make this a dedicated and committed playstyle. Right now, I look at this and I'm like, I don't know. He's on the Polish throne, and I mean, I guess that's it, right? This makes it so that even as an Austria, even if I want to very deliberately go, you know what, I would forsake conquest. I'm not even conquering all this stuff. I mean, I did now, because there is no alternative, but it really does make it so that you can't really change your behavior all that much. You just sit there and you say, okay, well, with how things are, I'm going to go ahead and just keep conquering, because every other alley of expansion now is effectively absent. I do want to stress, by the way, it is amazing. Look at these estate happiness. They're building so many things, and these things aren't even terrible. I like them. Maybe I would have to reduce them eventually, like in size, but right now, we are in a great situation, especially once legitimacy actually hits 100. You're going to see this in just a second, right? These are incredible times. I am deeply in love with everything that is happening here income-wise, and I think it works really, really well. Maybe a little bit overpowered, but I mean, then again, what isn't in this game? We literally have the freest peasants ever created. In many locations, we have actually 100% peasant enfranchisement. Let me check in Sweden. Oh, Sweden is doing so poorly in comparison to us. We are the freest of the free. My god, yeah. No, okay, incredibly, incredibly well. The way this plays is unique, it's insane, but it also makes it so that, again, nobody actually can rebel against me, because the vast, vast majority of everybody in the country is just happy. You have to wonder, why didn't they do this historically? 99% happiness everywhere. Look at France. Look at all these people suppressing their folks. That's ridiculous. Everybody here is like, yeah, I love life. The Duke is amazing. He should be emperor, frankly. Okay, sorry, that is a misrepresentation. They would say, the Duke should be emperor. He's amazing, really. Oh, look, it is yet again a Senj rebellion. Who even are you? What are you doing? Podrovania. Podravina. You don't even hold territory. What are we talking about? Oh, and apparently I can claim the throne again. So this is Ferdinand now. If I claimed it, for whom would I be claiming it? Maria Anna von Habsburg. It's just, there's no benefit. I don't even know who you are. I have to assume that you were one of the sisters. No, that's Theresia. You know what? I don't know. There's no benefit in me claiming it one way or another, which is deeply disappointing. Again, this is what needs to be avoided going forward for sure. And see, this is interesting now. The Nuremberg market is lacking tools. Is this an HRE thing? People were bringing this up. I'm not seeing this in my territory at all. We're doing, if I take a look at tools right here, it's doing okay. And I suppose due to effective supply and demand, they're not able to get enough from my market into Nuremberg. But like, if I run my own market, I'm doing completely fine. Maybe this is down to this many people having estates that are now building buildings. Maybe they're overbuilding in a very similar vein to how it happened in Victoria 3 until like a year or two ago. Looking at this, I mean, these are all, yeah, they have hefty buildings. Yeah, you know, honestly, it might be a question of estates now that they actually have money overbuilding. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And it does now look, unless I have another child, at the very least a son, right, as if we are losing our dynasty. That kind of, I mean, no, actually, that massively sucks. You know, maybe I should put the von Hohenzollern dynasty on my throne. If I can't have a Habsburg, right? You know what, that's a good call, actually. The von Hohenzollerns. Put them on the throne. Let's get this ball rolling. Austrian Hohenzollerns, what a cursed connection. To be clear here, by the way, they haven't declared a war against each other, England and France, in a million years. France is blobbing into the HRE, which again, is trouble. But that coalition we had at least kept them out enough to, you know, kind of be okay with it. You still amass imperial authority, which is the big thing. That is the important part of it. If they go Hussite, I have a good chance of inheriting it, and then I can just start smashing France in again and again. Oh my god. Maybe I can. Making it so that maybe we can get this done. See, Aragon allows me to install Eleanor de Barcelona, who is the daughter, we made that marriage, I remember doing this marriage, and I can't click her anymore, who is the daughter of Katharina von Habsburg. So good, so far so good, but since there are no matrilineal marriages, what's the point of this? I could push this against her father. With what value? What actually brings this for me? Nothing. I don't know. It's a very odd arrangement where royal marriages are now sitting after the nerf, where previously you would always literally put your ruler onto the throne, which obviously was insane. Now, we still have ways to go in this, but I do want to offer a very small analysis so far. Once I am emperor, which, by the way, will still take some time, because even if I inherit now, I only have a daughter. We live in a society. And this daughter, by the way, Beatrix, Adelheid, and Agnes, is only capable of producing women as well. We live in a society, okay? Okay, all of that aside. The emperor is clearly not really aware that he's emperor. Yes, he knows the button for give me back unlawful territory. Currently, that button seems to have an interaction that doesn't get rid of any opinion. It doesn't do anything, really, other than him spending money and me saying no, and he never pushes for the threat, because to do this, he would have to resolve the alliance, and to resolve the alliance, he would need to be aware that I am against the empire right now. I think we have a very clear indication here of the fact that the HRE AI has no awareness of what to do if it were to become the emperor. I also will say again, I think the solution to stop expansion in the HRE and to make it so that nothing happens via coalition is not a proper solution. Yes, if it fired regularly against, for example, France, it would be more efficient. But realistically speaking, that's the emperor's job. Right now, if you are the emperor, since France will just take random land, well, you just get to beat them up with infinite troops out of nowhere. The reality for me right now is that the coalition thing is the band-aidiest of band-aids. If they found a solution where expansion costs you in other ways rather than just being smacked before the head, because as a player you will never run into this, you will just expand slower, and if the AI also starts doing this, then this mechanism is completely invalidated. It doesn't matter anymore. My conclusion right now is that the AI HRE might be doing things, but it does things in a very clear fashion where it doesn't understand what is going on, what the wider strategy is, and so on. And by the way, look at this. Humiliating. Just awful for France. Whatever. My point being, we really are looking at something that looks better, but doesn't behave better in any meaningful way. Once you're the player, you probably have easy reign. I wouldn't know, because I only give birth to daughters. Yeah, and something with the markets is definitely crazy, although I couldn't tell you what. Look at this, minus 1,000 in Coilen. Sure, it is December, but none of these people... Oh, you know what it is? I don't think it's markets per se. I think it's... I don't know. They didn't build an extreme amount of cities. Sopron did. Jesus. I don't know. Their markets are performing incredibly poorly. Minus 1,000. Everybody in there needs to buy food right now. Look at us, plus 720. Plus 0, barely making it. I get notifications of Nuremberg also having okay, actually, their stockpiles are literally empty. I don't know. It's you know how much that costs the people inside of this market? That's crazy. Oh, and they finally have another... What do you mean the first phase? What do you mean when you say that? What does... The first phase? And it was declared by France. What? I don't know. Okay. Oh, and look at that. Bohemia actually trying to pass another law. Let's take a look at what it is. This law debate is for free electorate. What? They're not passing Landfried and traditional diet. These are the two that you ought to be passing right now, but okay. Oh, they're switching back and forth again. They're doing the back and forth thing. So they pass Emperor Dynastic Preference. Amazing for the Emperor. And now they're like, you know what, actually, let's go back to vote for free electorate, I guess. And it seems as though The AI just says yes to everything. Everybody is a supporter. Alright. I guess I'll vote yes. That's fine. They're just switching back and forth. Oh my god, they excommunicated me again and set me as rival. Why would you do this? Why does the Pope live in the Alps? What is wrong with you? What if I kill you? What if I assassinate you? What do you think about that? Do you think that's good? You think that's crazy? I'm gonna kill you. It's over for you, buddy. My god. Wow, and I'm not gonna cut this out because last time people doubted me. Let's take a look at this. We have an amazing rebellion by... Who even are you? You are Austrian nobles. Powerful stuff, powerful stuff. Well, they even gave you a province this time around. Wow. Wow, the war is over. Okay, this is what I mean when I complain about revolutions, okay? That's all I'm saying. Let's direct our attention again to this right here. This is a massive, massive shift. I am not sure how much it has to do with the disaster, you know, when it comes to food and the urbanization and the overbuilding and the resource shortage in the Nuremberg market. I'm not sure, but just look at how many buildings are being built by my estate. It is incredible. Very, very crazy. Definitely a valid playstyle now, which previously it was not. However, I feel very uneasy about the fact, like, what I did here to the nobility and then to the commoners, and the commoners have no power whatsoever because I refuse to pass any laws that actually give them power. It's weird. It feels really weird. They have a lot of money. They give me most of their money. And in the end of the day, then they just invest in positive stuff because they love me. I mean, it's nice that they're free, but they have essentially no political power. It's weird. Oh, I can definitely see it now. Even in this market, take a look at this. Everybody's operating at a loss, at a worse condition, because we're looking at tools basically having a short. I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure we're looking at estates overbuilding. Surely trade also plays a role here, but look at these construction goods, right? We got tools, we got lumber, all this stuff in every single market. Completely off the rails. I would argue that this probably comes down to estates investing a lot, like a ton of their money, and that ultimately creating too much. Maybe this isn't so much the economy breaking down as much as it is simply the economy stretching thin. With better tech, it would get better, but that will take some time. That's interesting. We are in an amazing position if we can't keep growing now. I mean, it's not the end of the world, really. We are doing very, very well for ourselves. Okay, as you can see now, they are actually fighting a coalition war. They declared this on themselves against France. They seem to be winning. It is going very, very nicely. Of course, the death numbers here are completely outrageous, but what can you do? Look, the longer I think about this, and this is one of those problems, for me personally, in fact, because Holy Roman Emperor Jinrich the 8th has just been elected. He's only 21 years old. It's going to take some time until he dies, probably before or after Friedrich von Hohenzollern here. I'm probably going to fast forward until I become emperor just to take a look at this. But I will be honest with you, the full substitution of diplomacy in the Holy Roman Empire through coalitions is dog water. And even if we sit down and we say, okay, the AI just needs to realize, hey, that is too much aggressive expansion, don't do any of this stuff, the reality just is that you then do nothing. The fact of the matter here is just that even if you did that, you would then have a situation where you don't actually fix the underlying problems of the way that the AI expands. I don't know what to say. And now we have finally annexed Senj, which was our colony here in Croatia. We are doing, of course, exceedingly well. My observations are pretty, I think, complete at this point. All I need to do, and this is where I want to get in this video without a doubt, is to become emperor. I still have not been emperor the entire time. They are now voting for me, finally, because they first did pass the dynastic election law, then a free election law, then the dynastic election law, then the free election law. We're currently on the free election law. If he dies soon, I actually get what I'm looking for, and that is, of course, the emperorship. From there, I just have to do a couple of wars. I would assume that I will run with automatic AI, basically, into Imperial authority going up, and then we can check out how voting works in general. Other than that, there's a big retrospective for me here. It is largely, honestly, just stuff that isn't working right. I have an incredible experience, really, and I said this a number of times now, of course, with the free peasantry, right? This is insane. They can't do anything because they have zero political power, and they give me so much money. Look at this satisfaction, right? It is just outrageous because everybody's so happy. There are no revolutions taking place in this country. Every estate is insanely happy, and the nobility sometimes rebels every like 40 years maybe with one location and then dies. I have a lot of takeaways from this, I think, for 1.1, where it is going and how I feel about it, but that's something for a separate video. Let's finish on actually understanding the HRE here. First of all, this is not properly integrated, but this vassal, because it was the dominant Croatian vassal or dominant Croatian country, actually did put us up, I think, even to kindred, right? There it is. Yeah, wow, to kindred. That is insane. It will cost us 0.15 to accept it. That is quite literally nothing. So the new meta, since they now made it so that you can't just annex your vassal and then it instantly becomes a core, is to have a culturally dominant vassal is to have a culturally dominant vassal, have them improve cultural opinion, and then you take them in. Pretty straightforward, I think. Oh my god, is this it? Is he actually dead? Wait, who the hell is Duke Karl? He's not the Emperor. Who is this? Wait, I keep getting pop-ups that the Emperor dies, and then I check it every time, and the Emperor still lives. Why does it tell me about the deaths of the rulers of von Wittelsbach? They haven't been Emperor in a million years. Oh, and there we have the Lutheran Reformation. I don't think I'm going to go with it, especially now that I actually have a shot at becoming the Emperor. By the way, nothing happening over there. This looking okay. I like what I'm seeing here. Let's make it happen. Please, Baldwin. I mean, you need to die. And see, this is exactly what I mean with the combined arms bonus. I mentioned this in the last video where I said I'm really doubtful that we're going to see a lot of this, given that we aren't actually seeing that many regiments that are regulars. The result is that despite all of my regulars, and I think if I were to remove them, we could actually see this, despite all of them being really well balanced, once I raise my levies, which I have to do, obviously, it's war, right? And if you go all out, then you need your levies as cannon fodder at the very least. But if you do this, essentially, the entire combined arms of your planned army goes away. In EU4, this wasn't a problem, but with levies, we don't have an impact on their composition past the very basics, meaning we can't actually get this combined arms bonus for most of the game, outside of very small conflicts where I don't need to get all of my troops onto the battlefield. And if you take a look at this right here, this happens if I split my regulars off 25%. I got 5% from 6. I got 5% from 5 different unit types, resulting into this additional bonus for fighting. I don't know. It feels a bit weird. I get the intention, but with levies being as prominent as they are, it's not really something that you're going to see too much on the battlefield, I think. Yes! Wait, what? What happened? What are we talking about? Why are you saying this? Long live the Emperor? I am Emperor! Oh my god, I am Emperor. I am going to grill 2 Sicilies and France because I am going to ensure that I get my Imperial authority. We are going to test a couple of things, folks. Okay, we do now have the very first heretic princes, and now I'm looking at this. Is there not an Imperial interaction to do it, or do I need to pass a certain law so that I get access to it? Enforce religious unity. Wait, you just can't do it? Do I have to declare no CB wars against it? That can't be right. Okay, forget about it. Since the AI didn't pass anything, there's nothing that I can do here that doesn't take a million years and far too long. Like it. Oh, I'm going crazy. Okay, but I can at least try a couple of things. Now, it does say that they did call the court assembly, but I think that is incorrect. What they did do is try to pass laws. They went back and forth between the same law, like I said earlier. I think that is just what this 22 years ago indicates there. I don't think the AI has ever called this, which is interesting to note. I'm going to call this. We're going to do it in any free city. Doesn't really matter to me. We're going to do the Roman month because I want the money. Thank you very much. How are we doing here? Everybody opposes it. Everybody just fundamentally against it. Aha. Is that so? Even my top ally, Bohemia. Everybody's just like, wow, I don't want to do this. So essentially we have to use the parliament agendas because by default everybody will be against it. Sucks, but okay, it is what it is. I am going to lessen the tax burdens, which by the way means nothing to me because what does this even mean? That's fine. We don't actually have any tax burden participation right now. Grant imperial titles, what are we doing here? Gives prestige. That's it. Okay, sure. And we're positive. I can affirm free imperial city rights. Yeah, why not? These buttons here, I don't like them. If people like you, if you have their support, if you have their favors, that is what should impact it. Instead, it's me clicking buttons. The problem really is that when the Reformation starts, you are supposed to already have a couple of laws. You are supposed to, for example, have different things from Landfriede and traditional diet. You're also meant taxation. Yeah, you are meant to have taxation, which we cannot physically do because we just do not have the imperial authority. It's a shame. It really is a shame. How is this a requirement anyway for cleanse heresy? Okay, whatever. If I did Imperial Liberation, for example, against France, which is very weak, I don't know why they're not doing very well. If I chose to do Imperial Liberation, right? If I manufacture the CB... Okay, I guess that I'm gonna manufacture a claim war against France, which has now actually, after a long time they started fighting, conquered Kent. Of course. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about this. The Hussite stuff just didn't happen. Bohemia did not flip. That's all. Okay, the Imperial Parliament worked out. That's good. Am I actually losing my mind? Shouldn't enforce religious unity not be possible, especially during the Reformation situation? When else does it apply? I suppose that I just need to wait. Ah, it's so unfun. I became the emperor basically when being the emperor stopped being fun. Because now I can't do anything. I'm gonna wage war, just for the record, against France and two Sicilies. I'm already creating a casus belli against France. But the reality of it seems to be that because of this modifier, I won't be able to get imperial authority up, no matter what. It's not feasible. That sucks. And off we go. I don't know what happened to France. I think it was the one coalition war that I waged against them, where this happened, right? I'm pretty sure that is why they've been worn down afterwards by Castile and Aragon. So going over this, by the way, what I'm really noticing is that my fully built out market, so every RGO in my market and in my vassals is fully built up. That is what I've been doing over the last few years. My stuff, to be fair, already was built up in like 1414 after that I started with my vassals. You can notice that despite this, we are indeed looking at the greatest needs being quite massive, and it's all construction oriented. Once we start building anything in any market, you can see this in Nuremberg as well, I think in Cologne also, you will have a massive issue with the production of construction goods. The reasoning for this, at least as far as I understand it, and in my opinion, is the fact that we are building too fast, because we have too many estates that have too much money all over the HRE. We are already fully built up. Unless we have more technology that has more efficient buildings and so on, we are not going to get what it takes to actually supply any of these markets. It's not per se awful. I mean, you can see that I'm literally printing money. This is not an issue whatsoever. Like I said, everybody's insanely happy due to the commoners policy here as well. But the takeaway at the end of the day is indeed, we are now hardlocked. We can't really proceed any further. And I say this, by the way, while I automated my armies to just siege down France. Let's just have them siege it down. I'll release a whole bunch of things. Let's see how much. Oh my god, why did you abandon the siege? Oh, okay, you know what? I need to just not look at it. Good luck. You got this. Okay, I'm going to have them release a whole bunch of people in the HRE that are currently their vassals. That's fine. Let's release them. There you go. Beautiful stuff. Okay, is it going to change anything? No, obviously not, because a ton of people are currently turning into heretic princes, and there's nothing that I can do past just declaring a whole bunch of no CB wars, which I'm not going to do. I will also say that I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here with how the Reformation is spreading. I think that is good. I'm not seeing Calvinism yet. Maybe that is still bugged. No idea, but I like this spread, although again, it's not exactly a threat to, me as a nation. I think we are good on that front. This is the funniest bit, by the way. The Great Wu in this build has a tax base of 28,000. Not an economic base, a tax base. Okay, alright, okay. Okay, yeah, the Council of Trent still works exactly the same. You don't know what they're gonna vote against, unless you've already played it, but they will be voting against it. All the same. Oh, there's Calvinism, hello. Huh. Bro, everybody hates everything. Everybody hates life. Oh, look at them. There they are. Wow. My powerful, strong supporters. God bless America. And there it is. We passed nothing. Nothing changed. Let's have a war. Now, taking a look at the viable spawns for the institutions of the Age of Reformation. What do we have right here? We got Italians. Yeah, okay. Looks good to me. Confessionalism can spawn in those locations. Global trade. Yeah, okay, plenty of locations. Honestly, very, very good. Any fear that I would have is essentially that it just does not spread. But I looked into the script and it looks like they have fallback options now, meaning that when nobody's eligible, it just spawns in the historical city. That is completely fine. Okay, so check this out. Global trade just spawned. I was not eligible as per the descriptions there, and yet I appear here in global trade Vienna. Am I going to see global trade spree? Yeah. I don't understand it. Because now it says I could have spawned the institution, but I was clearly not in that list. Look, it is what it is. See, and now you can actually see who was eligible for global trade. It's all these locations. They are immediately picking up the secondary focus. I don't know how it works. You know, let's just dismiss it. Yeah, and now look at all of these locations. Clearly, confessionalism was able to spawn in a whole bunch of locations, but they don't become permissible, I guess, until after it spawns. I don't understand what is exactly happening there. I can tell you that it happened with all of these. We're going to get all of these institutions very quickly, and then we can go from there. We are now confronted with the very last time that we can choose a capital for free. We have been in Graz the entire time. We have a governor right there. We could shift it around now. With the roles that we have and with the roles that we're going to get, it might be an advisable strategy. Honestly, I wish I could see a before and after. I feel like we're moving to Vienna. Maybe putting a local governor into Graz. I have to remember rebuilding all of the stuff that will be destroyed because I'm moving the capital. But fundamentally, I'm thinking Wien should be the right option, especially if I am, which I will be doing during the Wars of Religion, blobbing into Bohemia, right? That is kind of the idea here. Well, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, it is taking a really long time to get to a point where the War of Religions actually triggers, which is why we're going to go ahead and just declare a quick war. We're going to say, hey, howdy partner, how about we kill you? They're Lutheran, they're Lower Saxon, it is humiliating. I think I need to kind of destroy their Bohemian Union there. I do really like the way that these units look, it's nice. Here we have the battle. Did I come with too many troops? Surely. How do we compare here? Oh, I am actually benefiting from combined arms bonus. That's interesting. We got a bunch of different levies now. They're not benefiting from this. Slightly higher morale. I have slightly higher military tactics. And my discipline is higher. Right, we are very aristocratic right now, so that makes a lot of sense. All in all, I have a very normal setup, I think. We see mostly horses on the side here. What kind of damage do you do? 3. So you are levies, you do 18. These are the numbers that we've already seen. Yeah, the strength damage there. What about you? 8, 5? Yeah, it's all pretty much similar numbers there, I think. Just to be clear, I really don't think that they can oppose us in any meaningful way. Our vassal swarm is just... You know, it's not comparable to the Bohemians here. Listen, from start to finish, what can I say? The AI just is not the smartest when it comes to the navigating of their armies. Currently, if this is a war where you have to just basically win battles, you need to be there to win battles. You can't abandon your 18k to die to my entire army. RIP. What the hell are they doing? Where are they retreating to? What is this? What? They retreated to Wien? They retreated to my capital? What is this? What is happening in this country? It is so gorgeous though to watch battles. Man, it really is. They did an amazing job with this. Okay, and I think this is it. We're gonna take all of this land. I'm gonna eat the aggressive expansion. It is what it is, and I'm pretty sure that's about everything for Bohemia. I think Bohemia is not going to come back from that. We even took Kutna, Hora, Kuttenberg right there. If you like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, well, there it is. Now, what is even better, of course, is the fact that previously, when we were friends, I told the Czechs to increase our cultural opinion. And, well, it turns out that makes them incredibly cheap. I don't know why I keep pressing this button. That's not the button that you want to press. The Czechs, all of a sudden, are an accepted culture for virtually free. And now we can just integrate them and immediately get cores. God, I hate looking at this. It's ridiculous, genuinely. And see, this is just what this is. It's so very silly. This Austrian revolt is rebelling, and it's not Austrian. I don't know what to tell you. It's just unhappy Czech people. But in due time, they will be happy. The way rebellions work right now is literally every rebellion, whether it's political or not, is actually just a minority rebellion. That's all it is. They keep telling me that the Bavarian ruler dies, and supposedly that's the Holy Roman Emperor. I am the Holy Roman Emperor. What are we talking about here, man? I know exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh my god, it is going to be such a great showdown. Look at how many Protestant countries there are on the HRE. We're gonna see a massive fight in the Wars of Religions. I have to disappoint you. No, we are not. I was really looking forward to this, I'm going to be honest with you, and I have already now claimed the preparing military escalation so that we can declare a war against the Protestant Union. Obviously, I am the leader of the Catholic League, and as you can tell, Protestant Brandenburg is in my league and supporting me destroying Protestantism for good. Until just recently, by the way, Bohemia was also a member of this league. I have put many hours. I think this playthrough as a whole is like 9 hours. The game does not run very fast for me in 1.1's version. I assume it is the overbuilding, creating more calculations, of course, because there are more goods in general on the market and more changes to trade routes because there's so many shortages. You know, it was a long time coming, and then this is a conflict where I have over 1 million people and they don't even have 500,000. So I had to wait for a couple years anyway because I had a truce apparently, although I didn't know with whom really, and Bohemia just rejoined the league. So you know what, I think let's call it a day, let's kill Genoa for good. Now this right here is one funny map. Over 1.5 million people coming for under 500,000 Protestants. And the most powerful Protestant lords in the entire HRE are fighting by my side. Thank you, shout out to Bohemia and Brandenburg. Now, considering that this is a slideshow, if you think that I was going to command this personally, you were making a grave mistake. Now I will say, and I think that is actually really cool, you can very clearly see that external forces here are able to come in. Sweden has joined, England has joined on my side, oh that's devastating. We got the ERE joining on the Protestant sides. I think this works really, really well. Obviously, though, it's not even close, but no, this is way, way nicer than it was in 1.0. Still not good. Yeah, no, I will say, I do think that most of these people should have probably turned against me, and then it would have been interesting, but that aside, I love the fact that all of these people can now join. We are literally going through a First World War. Although it should be said, again, not close. I'm not manually handling this, but I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that the AI is moving back and forth because they're having supply issues, essentially. I think they do need to, like, get something. With wars this big, I think the AI needs some special consideration, or maybe some special rules for supply, I'm not sure, but right now, they're basically just going back and forward non-stop. So I don't seem to have individual peace treaty terms where I can convert the countries individually. Do they get force converted if they are in the HRE and I enforce religious supremacy? That is the big question. Let's find out about it. What is any of this? Who the hell is Megantic? Yeah, I'll take your colonial nation, that's fine. Let's just do this peace deal. The most important and only important part is religious supremacy. Let's get this done. Let's get some money, I guess. What does this look like? We gain 5 Imperial authority, right, okay. Catholic League disbanded, yep. We won the war. We won the wars. The statistics are complete nonsense, that's fine. Is everybody... We don't, oh my god, we don't make you guys flip. So I can't manually enforce it, and even if I win... You stay heretic princess, there's no shot. What's the point of it then? Okay, now what I can finally do actually is enforce religious unity, but it costs so much money. Luckily I have a lot of money, but Jesus Christ, that is annoying. Are you guys converting? Oh yeah, and they are actually converting, that's cool, okay. Right, and now I am hard limited by my diplomats. This is gonna take literal years to convert all of these. Alright, okay, well at least you can do it, I guess. Thanks. Where's my colony? Show me my colony. Are you my colony? Hey, Megantic. How much money do you make? You make no money. You're 3,000 people. God damn it. They just flip back. I'm actually gonna lose my mind, man. Please, I beg you, stop flipping back. Aren't you ruining your stability like this? I think I've been doing this now for 8 years. I'm just sitting here, clicking the button whenever a diplomat becomes available. They don't say no. I just have to do it individually. We're getting there. It's just... it's just that the cost of my sanity is the thing. And of course, I mean, if you didn't realize this yet, they do keep converting back. It's just I'm doing it faster than they can convert back. Now I have to fight a war against Bohemia here to convert them because they're not willing to do it. I will tell you this straight up. In 1620, having a pure regular army, I mean, yeah, they melt the enemy levies. And the AI seems to be completely incapable of building a proper regular army, so this is pretty easy. As much as I enjoyed the scale of the War of Religions, I think the way it plays out is really not fun. And afterwards just requires a ton of busy work. Oh my god, 15 years of continuous clicking, but it's actually done. Every single member state of the Holy Roman Empire is Catholic. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, well listen, it's 1631. I just won a war very easily against 2 Sicilies. I was thinking maybe I will push it towards elections. I won't, because everybody just randomly converts back to their religion. Look, I could declare 1 million more wars against you. I could defeat you 1 million more times. It doesn't really matter. It's just a waste of time. The reality clearly is that most of the mechanics here are busy work. The AI is not actually aware of any of it, and even if you take part in the busy work, you just have to repeat it over and over again, because at some point Bohemia will just, you know what if I converted to being Lutheran again? I could do this all day and I would win everything because we have a massive, massive army standing that is compared to anybody else. They literally cannot compete, but no. I think we've seen everything here that we needed to see, and so I hope that I see you in the next video where we're playing somewhere completely different to see how it goes there. There were upsides here compared to previous things, but honestly, by and large, it was incredibly tedious, incredibly annoying, and not very difficult, because the AI clearly can't deal with it. Folks, I'm going to leave you right here, and I will see you later. Alligator.